What's good, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by DistroKid. They are the go-to for digital music distribution and the easiest way for musicians to get their music onto Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, and more. They offer unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of their earnings, getting your music onto platforms and into stores 10 to 20 times faster than any other distributor. They help with cover song clearance, automatic splits, and they offer all kinds of tools and templates to help you get the most visibility for your releases. I dig this company and appreciate their business model that offers more features and tools than any other distributor while doing it at the most affordable price for solo artists, bands, DJs, studio artists, and any other creators that are making music or producing music in their home, and they offer label services as well. They've got 3 different tiers that they offer to creators that start as low as $22.99 a year. That's just $1.92 a month. And even their top tier is only $7.50 per month. And the best part about DistroKid sponsoring the podcast is they are offering Dan Cable Presents listeners 30% off their first year of service with DistroKid, making their affordable prices even cheaper for you. I will put that discount link in the episode notes. It will also be in my Instagram bio. Big shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this podcast for more than 3 years now. Much appreciated. Now let's get into the episode.
Look down at the
What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dan Cable Presents podcast. Thank you for tuning into the program once again. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking out the show. You can find fresh episodes coming at you on Tuesdays. And if you want to help support this thing in a free way, you can do so by clicking subscribe on iTunes, clicking write a review, giving the podcast 5 stars if you feel like it is deserving of so. And that will help propel this thing into the tops of those iTunes charts, giving it more visibility on the national, international levels, helping strangers find the podcast, and just a great way to contribute to the growth and sustainability of this thing. Appreciate the hell out of all the folks that have already taken the time to do so. If you're not listening on Apple, just hit like, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening from. If you are watching on the old YouTube channel, you can click subscribe there. And most importantly, you can tell a friend about the podcast if you are enjoying this thing. That is always much appreciated. Hope everybody is doing well out there, keeping their head above the water. This week on the podcast, episode 455 with Portland-based singer-songwriter Mary Eliza is on the show. Earlier this year, Mary put out this really incredible record called Spider that is one of my favorite records to come out of the city this year. So it was an absolute pleasure to get to chat with her and get to know her through this conversation and get to learn more about her musical background, the making of the Spider record, how her songwriting has evolved and made her a better person. And I just really appreciate Mary's ability to not overthink things to death, and you'll hear about that during this chat. And in the back half of this conversation, Mary and I talk about chronic illness, which is something that she lives with, and it was maybe my favorite part of the chat. And I just really appreciate her vulnerability of sharing her experience, and I think it's important for people to hear about these things, especially when it comes to chronic illness and things that are really misunderstood at times and not always diagnosed properly, or there's not always a maybe specific diagnosis for these things, and they're difficult to identify, and sometimes takes people months, if not years, to actually figure out what's going on with them. And it's really tough. And I've had a
couple people that are really close to me have to deal with these things, and not only do they have to deal with whatever physical pain they are in because of these illnesses, but then they also have to deal with the mental gymnastics and exhaustion and the grief of constant gaslighting of these things. So just big thanks to Mary Eliza for not only talking tunes with me, but also for sharing her experience of living with chronic illness. And as you will hear in the conversation, Mary hosts a support group for those that live with chronic illness, and she's also working on a book to share her experience. So I'll put all the links for Mary in the episode notes. So if you want to learn more about those things, or if you want to keep up with her so you know about her upcoming releases or shows. And speaking of shows, Mary has a gig coming up at one of my favorite new music venues in Portland. It's called Second Story Studios. I've been to a few of these shows, and they're hosting these really intimate shows in this beautiful space. And the hosts, Blair and Micah, are both local musicians, and they're just doing a really great job with the whole thing. Very stoked for them, and very just grateful that they're providing this space to get to witness music in. And you can see Mary Eliza playing with Eliza Diane at Second Story Studios on October 16th. There is a limited amount of tickets and seats for that, so grab one. I encourage you to grab a ticket now. And speaking of limited spaces, my Sunday Coffee music series is back on October 19th. Very stoked to have Portland string princess Alexis Mahler headlining this one. And yeah, she's just amazing. Such a great person, killer musician, and past guest of the podcast, Mikey Whalen, formerly known as Mickey Newball, will be opening that one. And there's only 30 available seats for those shows. It's all ages, intimate, live recording, and free coffee provided and brewed by yours truly. That's at Clay Street Studios, October 19th. So that ticket link is in my my Instagram bio if you want to find one there, or you can just look up Primetime Cable on Eventbrite, and that's Alexis Mahler show should show up. Wow, that's tough to say. Should show up there if you hit that. But like I said, the link, it's in my Instagram bio. You can just go find it there as well. And with all that, we are going to get into this thing. Episode 455 with Mary Eliza, kicking the episode off with the opening track from her Spider record. It's called Dogs. It's an unbelievable song. Now let's do the damn thing.
Every time I look at you, it's like we've just begun. You're grinning and you're whispering, it's like we've just begun. Even though the dogs are ripping trash up in the street, it doesn't have to feel like that when you're with me. It doesn't have to feel like that when you're with me.
So does that mean that you do not live in a van, like in a van anymore?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has it been a long time since you?
It's been 2 years.
Okay.
Since I've not lived in a van.
All right.
Yeah.
How's that feeling?
It feels good. I feel all washed up and more organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm stoked to have you here.
Yeah, stoked to be here.
I saw you play at the Lollipop Shop like, I don't know, a few months ago
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And I wasn't familiar with the music at all, and I was just really blown away by your set that night. And then I went and listened to your Spider record, and I was just like, this is fucking so good. Like the songs are so killer, and
yeah.
and then the production just like goes crazy. And yeah, I was just very, very taken by the music. So I'm excited to like learn how you've gotten to here.
Yeah.
you know? So tell me about like your early experiences with music and like falling in love with it.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a family band.
Okay.
Started playing instruments when I was like 4.
Okay.
Started with piano, went into violin, and then mandolin, and then guitar. And I think harmonies was what made me fall in love with music.
Yeah.
It just scratched an itch for me.
Just like the communal thing of the harmonies and the singing with people.
Yeah, and it might even be like that kind of barbershop quartet thing. I don't know, that I just remember at a very early age hearing those kinds of harmonies,
Okay.
and I just loved it. And my family kind of did a little bit of that, which was super fun.
Hell yeah.
Interwoven into bluegrass. Bluegrass has a lot of harmonies in it already, but yeah. So that's kind of how I started, I guess.
And that was Bay Area?
That was Bay Area, yeah, Oakland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what is I don't know, when you say family band, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, it was my mom, my dad, my older brother, and then we adopted my little brother halfway through our kind of band process, and we made a CD, so we
Okay.
did some recording. We did a lot of busking is how we started, and then we started to play at like homeless shelters and retirement homes and just at different venues around the Bay Area. Yeah, it was just regular, like every day we would practice and then we would do shows on the weekends.
So were your parents playing music before you were in the picture?
No. My dad is kind of a music hobbyist.
Okay.
He's obsessed with music. He plays guitar, but I think they just felt like it would be a cool way for us to bond.
Okay.
Yeah, and it worked.
It was.
Yeah, it was a good way
was
to
a
bond.
good way to
Yeah,
bond.
indeed, yeah.
Yeah, that feels like pretty special to like get to share something creative like that with family.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
And like, was there? I don't know. Did you guys grow like a following of sorts, like as a family band, or was it mostly just like kind of the busking on the streets? And
It was more in the vein of busking.
Okay.
There were definitely some people who would come to our shows, but very small. That never felt like a piece of it.
So you kind of like started with bluegrass music.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like that has maybe like informed your songwriting now, or like how important was that like as a cornerstone for like your musical foundation?
Yeah. I think it has influenced the way that I play instruments mainly. I'm sure it has influenced my writing styles to some extent, but I haven't really thought too much about it. But I'm a big fan of like finger picking,
Yeah.
and all sorts of stuff like that on guitar. And that definitely came from my childhood bluegrass influence. Yeah.
Were you just learning a lot of songs then as well? Like you guys were playing like mostly like the bluegrass repertoire
Yeah.
kind of situation. Like
Yep.
you guys weren't writing a
No,
bunch of tunes.
not as a family.
Okay.
But just having the tools around me, and my older brother, he started writing, and I could hear him playing his songs because our rooms were connected. You could hear pretty clearly, and I thought his songs were incredible. And I just kind of it clicked. I realized that songs don't just come out of thin air; like they come out of people, and my brother was doing it, and I thought, whoa, I could do that.
Yeah.
And I just started doing it, and it made me a better person, like pretty immediately.
What do you mean by that?
I think being able to express yourself makes you
a better person. I felt more well-rounded when I started writing songs, and like I could use the feelings that I was experiencing, and was able to connect with more people. And, yeah.
How old were you when you started writing?
I think I was 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you immediately just writing lyrics even when you weren't, or like some form of poetry when you weren't playing music, or did it all kind of come through song?
It all kind of came through song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been one to write I'll just kind of have a feeling, I guess, and then I'll sit down, I'll let it become as big as it is. And then it's, for me, this practice of separating ego, or like my conscious mind, and just the emotion and feeling. And I remember kind of figuring that out as a kid. And it just felt really good.
Yeah.
To let this like underlying part of me exist freely.
Was it easy for you to discern even as a kid, like when that was happening and when you were like getting pushback from the ego, or?
Yeah, actually, I think it was. And I noticed that when I started going to public school in middle school, I get confused by grades.
Yeah.
But at some point, whenever I started going to school, I noticed when I started to care more about what other people thought of me, and ego being fed or whatever, and it became harder for me to write from this ego-less place.
Yeah.
And I noticed when that happened. And I was a very quiet kind of like emo child a little bit. I spent a lot of time thinking about all the different parts that make us up and what different feelings mean and where they exist.
Yeah.
Kind of just like natural curiosity for me. So I think because of that, I was able to discern that maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you, I don't know, were you able to like find ways to keep yourself in check a little bit when you started, I don't know, when you're talking about going to public school and you're starting to maybe like feed off of like what other people think of you, or like how you can be cool in other people's eyes? Like, was that difficult for you to, I don't know, find like your true self in there and not get lost in that?
Yeah, it was. And I think I did get lost in it. I think we all do at some point.
Absolutely.
Especially as teenagers.
Yeah.
You kind of have to.
Yeah.
To decide what is going to pull you out of that and what is going to shape you. So yeah.
Yeah. And the music like helped you? Do you think too?
Definitely.
Like when you went to that writing space, you felt like you were like, oh, this is like who I am. It's like not
Definitely.
what I'm like maybe presenting, or like who these people think I am.
Yeah. And I'd say less consistently, like in those teenager high school years, because I started to play music with other people, and I was letting myself be heavily influenced by what they thought should be written and what should be written about and how it should sound, especially coming from the bluegrass background. I was doing things a bit differently than some of my friends who were writing like Avril Lavigne songs or something.
They didn't have that bluegrass foundation where you were coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But there were like junior high, high school kind of bands.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of just like garage band stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you play shows out in like in the Bay Area where you were growing up?
I did solo.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did a lot of busking. That was a very consistent thing that I would do throughout college too. Just busking regularly. And when I was in high school, busking in San Francisco and Oakland. Yeah.
Do you think you really enjoyed the busking just because that was like part of your childhood? Like that felt like a comfortable kind of like almost like a safe spot for you to get your practice in?
For sure. It also, the discomfort of busking is also something I love.
What kind of discomforts?
Just like all sorts of people coming up to you and sparking conversation, which I love when people do that. Sometimes there's uncomfortable conversations or unsafe situations that happen when you're busking naturally, especially as a young girl in somewhere as populated as San Francisco or Oakland. There were a lot of interesting things that happened, and it was formative, and I was aware that it was formative while it was happening, so I was grateful for it, and I kept going back out there. Yeah.
So were you homeschooled early on?
Mm-hmm.
So the music was like what you did every day. That was like a big part of like your education almost.
Yeah. We pretty much just learned music, so like instruments, different languages, and then art were the three things that we focused on.
Did you like gravitate towards the guitar pretty early on?
Violin was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still play?
A little bit. It's kind of like language, as you know, I'm sure. When you stop doing it for a while, you kind of lose a bit of the words. But I can get back into the rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel like maybe you loved about violin that you didn't get out of the other instruments?
I kind of think that it was a lack of self-confidence, actually, that led me to not play guitar earlier on, because my older brother was just a wizard and I wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
But I did really love it. And then when I started playing guitar, I think that kind of became my favorite.
Did that really open up the songwriting for you?
Yeah.
When you started playing guitar?
Yeah, it made it a lot easier, not having something like physically up near my voice made it feel more accessible, even though it is completely accessible to sing while playing violin, but it just, it felt different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like because you grew up playing like every day or most days, is that something that like just became part of your life practice and still is? Like, is that just something you gravitate to doing every day for the most part?
Yeah,
and it's
actually,
like easy to do so, like you don't really even think about it.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of like a meal. Like you can forget to eat, but at a certain point you'll notice it and it'll feel uncomfortable, and then you sit down to eat and you realize, oh, it's exactly what I needed. That's kind of what playing music is for me. Sometimes I'll forget. I'll get wrapped up in other things. It's not so often that happens, but when it does, I'll feel this like itching, scratching is the only way I can describe it. And then I might even wonder if I'm thirsty or hungry. And I realize, oh, I just need to sit down and write. And I do that, and it immediately quenches that soul thirst and completes my day.
That's
so
amazing.
It is kind of a daily practice.
That, things start to feel a little weird when it's not happening.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Is it because you have like, it's like served that purpose for you? Is it ever like irritating to you if it like does not scratch the itch, or like that it, or if it like can't solve the thing that maybe you're going through? Because obviously, like, I don't know, listening to the music, I feel like it's so vulnerable. It feels like these raw like journal entries a lot of the time, and very like exposing of like what you were going through. Like, so is there ever like frustration where like maybe it doesn't, like, you're like, I spilled my guts into the thing and like I still don't like feel better about it or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that if that ever happens and I go into writing or playing music with the intention of scratching that itch and doing what my nervous system needs, and then it doesn't scratch that itch, I'm better at now having patience and grace with that process and realizing that that's just not what my system needs. And I find that the most potent pieces of art that I create for myself are when it does scratch that itch. So sometimes it can be twofold frustrating. Like, I think this must be what I need, and then it feels like this fruitless endeavor.
Yeah.
But usually now I'm better at realizing that means I'm looking in the wrong place for whatever it is.
What do you think attracts you to like being vulnerable through the music and like allows you to be so honest with your lyrics?
That's a good question. I think maybe it comes from a curiosity of wanting to be honest with myself. And when I'm able to do that and look at something for what it is without even my perception of it or what I want it to be, it feels for me like a reminder that life is this gift that we get to witness. And if we can take us scratching at what we want it to be out of the process, it just feels so raw and authentic for myself. Sometimes it can spill out and affect other people in similar ways, but yeah, I think that's why it's such an attractive endeavor for me, is because it just feels like this pure connection with my like core self.
Can you breathe my air? Can you clean my lungs? I can't go much further after all I've done.
Were you always pretty,
After all
because of
I've
the busking and playing in public like that, were you always like pretty comfortable with playing in front of people?
No.
What about now?
No.
Like, I got to see you, like I saw you play with the band.
Yeah.
I also saw you play a couple songs at the Second Story thing, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
night that Craigie hosted.
Oh, cool.
Which one of those is more nerve-wracking for you?
Honestly, I think they both are in different ways. Yeah. I think I always want to play from a heart space.
Yeah.
And what makes me most nervous is when I feel like I can't. When a show lines up with a day that I'm like feeling like I can't play from this heart space, that makes me really nervous because then it doesn't feel authentic.
Yeah.
Which is probably just unnecessary pressure because we're all different on different days. Nobody's perfect. Yeah.
Because of that, like, do you have certain things that you like to do before you play a set? Like any rituals that can, help you get to a place where you feel good about sharing in front of people? Or is it just kind of you just push through on those days where you're maybe not really feeling the thing?
Yeah. I think a good mix of both. I like to, on those show days or right before, make myself physically comfortable. So like wear soft clothing, make a cup of tea, call my friends. I like to go on long walks before I play shows and touch trees. I have this fascination with touching the bark on trees and the different skin that trees have. Just so grounding.
Yeah.
And so awe-inspiring. I feel like it can always take me to this place of gratefulness that I even get to play music and that people will listen. So yeah.
What about the actual experience of playing with a band versus playing solo? Like, do those feel like completely different things? And like, what do you appreciate about getting to do both and kind of like share your songs in such different ways?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so different. With the band, I love the energy behind me, and I love my bandmates and the passion that they bring to playing music and the way that they interact with my music. Yeah, the energy in a room where we're playing this more loud, boisterous music is so different from my solo shows where it's very quiet and more calm, usually seated. So I like the energy of those band shows.
Yeah.
And then solo, it just, feels like it comes from a different part of me, maybe the more reserved part that's more introspective and quiet. And those band shows and the songs that we play even are maybe from like more rage and grief.
Yeah.
So yeah, different parts of me, but scratching the same itch ultimately.
Yeah, when you're playing with the band, you feel like, I don't know, that you almost get to like be outside of yourself a little bit, like in a sense of like getting to be like doing something a little louder, since you are like more quiet and reserved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I have my loud moments in my life as well, and I feel like it's just a different part of me that I get to express more when I play those songs or songs like the ones that you heard with my band.
Yeah.
Where we're just kind of going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, even listening to, I don't know, Spider is like technically your first full length record. I know you've like released a lot of music up until then, but yeah, I was just like really, as far as being kind of like taken and blown away by it, just seemed like, you know, for being your first record, it just felt like it came from somebody that was like a very seasoned musician, or just like the songwriting and the choices made on the record, you know, it felt like you had been like, must have been really like refining things almost for a long time to like get to the point of like putting this record out.
Yeah.
Does that feel accurate in any way?
Probably. I think the intention going into Spider was different than the intention going into other projects that I've released. And it was kind of a time to put some of those skills that I wanted to showcase more at the forefront of the record, as opposed to these kind of background things that I maybe haven't done so publicly.
Yeah, like the other stuff just kind of like feels like these like very like raw kind of bedroom recordings.
Totally.
Like you had like put out, and it's like mostly just you like with the guitar, and you know, I love those collections of songs because it like feels like you're in the room with you, you know, and it like feels very vulnerable, and like I think it's just like such a cool look inside of the songwriting, and like even the moments where like it feels like you're just like reciting poetry, or you know, or just ad-libbing things, or you know, just the intros that you like build into those types of things, you know. Just the space created is so much different than like what we get out of listening to Spider in this like fully produced record. Did you feel like there was I don't know, like what sparked you feeling like maybe you were like ready to do something that was a little more produced, and like getting to lean into like band sounds?
Yeah. Honestly, it just kind of sounded fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the songs that I had written that I was wanting to put out lent themselves to that kind of full band sound. just sounded like a new fun thing to try and push myself as an artist and writer.
Yeah. What was what was that whole experience like for you, like making that record?
Yeah. It was so fun. It was awesome. Yeah, I recorded it in Nashville at Trace Horse Studios with Preston Cochran and Jake Finch were the guys who worked on it, and they're just so cool and so incredible.
Yeah, they've worked on some very cool records.
Yeah, and Preston and I, we met for coffee several months prior to that. My folks live out in Nashville, so
Okay.
I was in the area, and his ideas and my vision just seemed to align so perfectly, and the whole process, start to finish, felt effortless. It was really validating and nice as an artist working with those guys. Yeah, the parts that they added and the ideas that they had, it just all felt so good and effortless, and it was a blast, honestly.
What do you feel like they like brought out of the songs that like maybe you couldn't see for yourself, or like hadn't quite, like, I don't know, unlocked, or if there's anything you were like caught up in?
Yeah. I think because they've worked on so many records, they've dabbled in so many different genres, and Preston specifically as a producer has also worked in so many different genres, and the interesting out-of-the-box things that are on Spider are mostly Preston's ideas, like some weird little sounds that I only had words for things, for example, like on Slow Mover, just kind of this like textural, ethereal thing. I didn't have like a ways to pinpoint what that should look like, but I knew what I wanted it to feel like. And Preston and Jake were able to figure out how to make the feelings into sound, which is something that I haven't done because I haven't worked in like produced areas of my music.
Yeah.
I just, like you said, bedroom recordings. So they were really helpful with that kind of thing.
What was your experience with like the days that you maybe had to record vocals, you know, like going back to what you said earlier about like maybe playing a show and not like feeling like you can like tap into the thing in your heart, or, you know, were there days where it was like harder to like switch into that mode and like record these emotional vocals into like a recording booth? Or
Interesting. No, actually. Well, we did the whole record in 4 days. It's very quick, and we did all the vocal tracks on the last day. And no, it just felt really easy, actually. And I think it was the space that I was in there as well, and hearing what the songs had become over the last 3 days made it really easy to tap in. And I'm a wild imperfectionist. Like, I love imperfection more than perfection, for sure.
oh, I'm sure that's helpful than making a record.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know?
I would do one take and I'd be like, great, that's great. And Preston would be like, we could do one more, just have options. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's a better way to make a record.
That's I think that is like nice though, that, you know, you're not like, oh, I'm just gonna hammer away.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to some people that like they really will like do that 80th take, and they like feel like that's the one, you know, and that always like blows me away, because I don't like know how you like maintain any of like the spark of the thing anymore when you go about it that way.
It's impressive.
Also impressive. I don't know. So like, did you do most of those like in like 1 to 3 takes?
Oh,
or
yeah.
You would say?
For sure.
Like, I think that's like also very impressive, because I don't know, like it sounds so good, you know? It doesn't,
Thank you.
I mean, and maybe that's why like it sounds so natural and like so like raw and authentic too, that because like you didn't like pick every little thing apart. And
Yeah.
you obviously had some people in the room that would like let you know like we should do it one more time at
Yes.
least, or like be like, no, that you're right. That's like we got the feel.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I had the voice of reason in the room with me, and they were also so open to me just doing something and saying, that's great, that's fine.
Yeah.
And fine is great.
Yeah.
And we're done.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, we like it too. And we could have picked apart so many things, of course. It's always something to change. I just don't have any desire to do so.
Yeah.
Hardly ever.
Is that like kind of like how you are, just like in general?
For sure.
You don't want to just like keep hammering something out. You're like, this is
No.
what I've got. This
Yep.
is where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. I just show up with what I have on a given day and do my best, and that's it.
Yeah. Do you, because of that, like, was it, do you think it was like pretty helpful that you only had 4 days to make a record? Like those like almost creative parameters of like, these are time constraints. So we just have to make this happen in this amount of time.
Yeah, I think so. I think I would have made the same decisions creatively if we had more time. But the time frame definitely lent itself to just being able to let go even easier because we just had to move on to the next thing.
Were there, are there like songs on the record that it like surprises you? Like what they sound like from where they like started? Or do you feel like your vision for things just like kind of really came to life?
Yeah. I need to listen to it again to see what surprised me. Because I know there were things that had started out really small in my head and in my room when I had written it. And I think it also just helped, working with other people on it and hearing their perspective. And I guess there were times when I was saying I wanted something to feel a certain way, but then I didn't have the confidence to actually do it. And Preston was helpful with saying, no, you said this originally. Let's try it. And we would do that and be like, oh, wow, I guess I was on to something. And
that's the thing.
The voice of reason, so helpful.
But you didn't like get in a situation where like you made songs and you didn't feel like somebody else's ideas like kind of took away from the thing that you wanted to make. Like it all like went the way that you hoped.
Not at all. No.
Which is like great. I feel like that's like such a success thing of like making your first like fully produced record. So like walk away from it and like feel good about it and
totally
not have like those hangups like, oh, these like didn't end up being my ideas really. Like it became like the other people in the room.
Totally. Yeah. And actually I think that's why I didn't approach records that way for a long time, is because growing up there were a lot of people trying to pull me into different studio projects, and I did do a handful in high school, and I realized I wasn't standing up for my ideas strongly enough. Yeah, it feels emptying, doesn't feel good when that happens. And so I just kind of retreated to a more quiet music space.
Yeah.
And then felt like I could stand 10 toes behind my ideas and thoughts and feelings for this record. So
yeah. So after like high school, were you playing a lot of music like out and about? Like were you, aside from busking, like were you playing shows in places or?
Yeah, I was doing it primarily as work. Yeah, that was my primary job is what I mean. Mostly solo, just around town. I lived in Santa Barbara, and so I busked a lot there most days. And then after busking, I would go play whatever gig I had lined up, and it was usually those like brewery gigs, or bars or wineries, or
play for a couple hours.
Yep, exactly. Just kind of hustling a little bit. I played some weddings. I started to get into that. field. It was a little draining. And I did kind of get burnt out eventually I was just playing so many shows.
Yeah.
And it stopped coming from that place where I wanted to be there and felt like I was receiving any energy back from what I was putting in. And then I took some space from playing shows for a couple years. I would play the occasional show. And I'm still pretty picky, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to the point where you felt like you were like clocking in for a
Yeah.
job a bit,
Yeah,
playing those shows.
totally.
But also like super helpful in like keeping your chops and like making it a little easier to play in maybe the spaces you wanted to.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is like, I don't know, when you talk about being picky about playing shows now, like what are you looking for? Like what are the boxes that you're trying to check, or like what's going to like make you feel good
Yeah.
about playing a show?
I think maybe a lot of it isn't so concrete, but the room means a lot to me. And if it's a space that people are bringing intention into, trying to curate like a listening space, for example, like Second Stories.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe, I love that, and I will always support that and lend myself to the cause because that's important to me. And then there's other spaces where the music doesn't really matter to the people in the room or the people hiring you per se, it just feels less intentional. And I find those are more often the draining experiences as an artist. So yeah, I guess the intention behind it is the main thing.
And are you ever playing or writing with other people at this point, or is it usually like a pretty solo endeavor, like outside of playing your full band shows?
Pretty solo. Yeah, I'd like to write with more people. I want to practice that more.
Is there any like apprehension there because of those, like some of those prior experiences?
I think there's much less apprehension than I think.
Yeah.
When I actually think about it, just sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I think it would need to be the right mix for me to feel comfortable and safe being vulnerable, because my music is just inherently vulnerable. But I could also try new things.
Will you love me until I'm young? Will you love me until I'm old? Will you love me into somebody I don't know? I think the house is cold, and you say that it's not. And I put on all my sweaters while you try to take them off. And am I as cool as them in the summer?
What sparked your interest in traveling around in a van and being in different places? And how long did you do that for?
Yeah. I did that for about 4 years. 4 years, I think.
Was that like right out of high school, or?
Pretty shortly after high school. Yeah. I was already just kind of camping a lot. It felt more natural than paying rent, I guess.
Yeah.
Paying rent just felt weird. It felt more natural to own the space that I was in, and that wasn't going to happen with me like buying a house at 18 or something. Yeah, it just kind of fit my needs. And as a musician, being able to travel to different cities and places to play, I enjoyed being nomadic. It felt just natural.
Did it seem to inspire a lot songwriting wise?
I think so. I was able to control like where I would wake up, for example, which made a difference in my writing. Like being able to pull off on some road late at night and maybe not really know what it looked like, and then to wake up in the trees. That's a very inspiring feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, one that's a bit harder to come by.
Yeah.
not living in a van.
And environment always have like a pretty big impact then on
Yeah.
like making you want to write.
Oh, for sure. I feel pretty heavily influenced by the space I'm in and the people I'm around, which it used to frustrate me a little bit because you can't really control those things most of the time. But
Yeah.
I think my sensitivities in those realms actually, I'm grateful for them now.
Has it been a pretty big adjustment, like not having that ability to just like go wherever you want at any given time? Or is it mostly like feel pretty good to be like settling down somewhere?
Yeah, it feels good to be settling down. It just felt like time. I wanted to root myself in one community more so.
What made you choose Portland? Like, had you spent a lot of time here when you were doing the van thing?
A bit. Yeah, some of my best friends have lived here for a very long time.
Okay.
So I had spent a fair amount of time here, and it just, kind of happened that a lot of other people I knew were moving to Portland as well, and a lot of music, art, writers, big feelers, and yeah, I'm kind of like my earlier point of not really overthinking things so much. I'm the same with moving.
Yeah.
Like, I just think, oh, this sounds nice, I'll try it, and I just do it, and I don't really give too much thought to it.
I need a little bit more of that in my life, Mary. I need a little bit of that energy.
I mean, it's just seasons, like they run through, and we can change them again.
Can
if we
always
want
correct
to.
if it's no good.
Yeah.
All right. I'll try to remember that.
Yeah.
When you were making the Spider record, was there a lot of thought at all about like how those songs would translate live? Like maybe even specifically thinking about how you would play those songs solo versus what they sounded like on the record, or because of your freewheeling spirit, you didn't like really have to think about those things, or you like wrote those songs on acoustic guitar so it like already made sense to you?
Yeah, I did write them all on acoustic guitar. And no, I didn't think about it too much in the process. And then when I found my bandmates and we started playing, we just kind of played it like the record.
Yeah.
And they all add a little flair and a little something different, but it just felt good for all of us to play it how it was.
Yeah.
So we're rolling with it.
Do you feel like you've like developed some approach or style to leading a band yet? Like, what has that experience been like for you now that you're, playing these shows with a band sometimes?
Yeah. I feel like all of my bandmates are just friends, which helps because I feel like nobody's afraid to share their opinion, and I'm always open to hear what other people are thinking about, and I value their opinions on different things, but they also listen to me when I say I want something done a certain way. Yeah, I don't know.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, it's been pretty easy. I can't say there's been a huge learning curve to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have some of my favorite players playing in that band.
I know it.
Like Keenan and Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Lindsay.
Yuck, man. Yeah. All former guests of the cast.
Right.
Just like a bunch of people that I love that in this music scene. So yeah, just absolute killing band.
Yeah. I'm honored
Nice
to play with them.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nice to like have people that you can just like trust to do the thing too, and like not like none of those people are going to like find the wrong moment to like flex their chops or something, Like they're all just gonna like go and serve the song and
Totally
do the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. You ever play music with your folks anymore?
A bit.
And
Yeah.
your brother?
Yeah, I did. I recently played music with my brother, my older brother. And when we get together as a family, sometimes we'll play. Usually my brother and I will start playing together, and my dad will join in, and maybe we'll kind of bring more people in and start playing together. But yeah, I did play with my brother last week. So refreshing.
That's so sweet.
He's just so dang talented.
Does he also like pursue music or like put music out?
He hasn't.
Okay.
He's written hundreds of songs that are just, I think, incredible.
Yeah.
And he took a different path career-wise. He writes music all the time, plays every day, just hasn't put anything out.
Yeah.
I really want him to. Selfishly, because I want to listen to it all
Yeah.
the time.
That's so sweet though that like that has continued on in some way. Like where you get together and you're still doing the thing together. Like
Yeah.
you have like that gravitation to do it, like no one's asking you to. It just like kind of happens.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the family always, I would imagine, pretty supportive then of like your choices to like pursue music.
No.
But they got you into this. This is their fault.
I know. Yeah. They're supportive now. They're happy about it now.
They thought you were like a little wild for getting the van and doing that whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it kind of happened. I also have a chronic illness, which played a big role in my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any diagnoses when I had to drop out of college because I was too sick to partake. And I didn't have any diagnoses or like concrete reasons why I couldn't do it. I just tried to explain to them and to everyone that I just couldn't do it. And I was playing music still, obviously. And they thought that I was just kind of a bum, dropout, wanting to live in a van and play music. I'm like, I think this is all I can do right now.
Yeah.
Which they understand that now. And they all look at it a bit differently. But yeah, so no, they weren't supportive.
Yeah. I know in the track The Fall off Spider, one of my favorites, you talk about like having some forgiveness for this disease.
Yeah.
Like, can you talk to me about just like what living with chronic illness has been like, and just even, maybe developing that sort of like forgiveness and acceptance for like the cards you've been dealt?
Yeah, totally. It takes a lot of time, I think, to find forgiveness for something that makes your body not work in the ways that you want it to. Like, it's such a alienating experience, especially as a young person, living in a body that just doesn't function the way that you need or want it to. And it did take a long time for me to accept that and live more in harmony with it, as opposed to this fighting internally and this anger at it. So yeah, that's where that line comes from. And I've definitely found forgiveness for it now. It's so much grief. It's kind of, having a chronic illness is like, it's just constant grief. It's this grief cycle where you're mourning what you maybe were able to do at one point and can't do, or you're mourning things that you want to do and can't do, or you're mourning the pain that you wake up with, or the treatments you have to go through, and watching other people live their lives in ways that you would love to, but you just can't.
And it's like kind of like also like one of these situations like you're talking about, like it took a while to get like diagnoses, like just kind of like one of those things where it's just like hard to figure out what the thing is, or like what the ways to treat it is. Like I don't know, like my mom's like dealt with like a lot of fibromyalgia like type shit, and like I don't know, I had a friend with like Lyme disease, and like I feel like those are like those things that are like hard for people to like understand like what is actually happening, and like it's like, you look fine though, and like, you know.
Yeah.
So like was a part of, or like is a part of that grief even like dealing with things like that, like other people not being able to understand what you're going through, or like even when you like told your parents that you're like, I don't think I can like do anything else but this right now, and they're just like, you're being a bum.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much gaslighting that happens when you're sick and don't have diagnoses, or even if you do with invisible disability, which is like what you're mentioning, like fibromyalgia or Lyme disease. It's invisible. So people don't really take it seriously. And even in the medical system, it's just constant gaslighting until you have that blood work and you bring those papers to everyone you see and you say, you can't say shit, it's right here.
Yeah.
And it's like, even that, it's so much advocating for yourself when you're so sick. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Just emotionally exhausting.
It's
dealing with that.
Yeah, totally. But I think that all of the grief that comes for me from illness it's like this ultra rich soil that the most fruitful endeavors of my life have come from grief. So it sounds cliche, but I'm actually really grateful for it.
Yeah. How so? Like, what is, I don't know. What is the rich soil from all of this, or like the silver linings for you?
I think just the understanding that life is a gift, and it's so easy to take something that's given to you for granted. But it could go away at any point. And it's something I think about every morning. It's like, okay, I'm alive. I could die today. I could die tomorrow. I could die whenever. And it's more prevalent for me with illness than relatively healthy people. But for relatively healthy people, it is the same. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that kind of like harnessing of life itself and the gratitude that comes from noting that life is in me right now is the greatest gift. It's brought so much intentionality to all of my relationships and to the way that I approach my art or myself or my future or my friends or children, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're feeling good, you just like really also want to take advantage of that, I'm assuming. Like,
yeah, totally.
What do you feel like it's done for your songwriting, or like how has it affected that? Like has that always felt like something you could push through to do, or are there like difficulties there as well?
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of that separation of ego again. But with illness and going through this, I've learned about how to connect with my core being, is what I call it. It's kind of that like self energy. Like the way I describe it is when you know that you want something and it just feels so good. You almost like tremble because you know that's exactly what you want. That's like that core being feeling. And I bring so much more of myself to writing now. It makes it much more thick is the word that comes, but like potent, I guess, because I'm bringing more of myself to the process.
Yeah. Kind of putting everything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it also just like always feel like the best space still? Like relief from the difficulties of the chronic illness?
Yeah. I think it is one of the best for me. I do write a lot as well. I'm writing a book actually, and that also feels really helpful for me, and kind of using all of these experiences, putting it into a format that might even be able to help other people going through similar things feels very symbiotic. Yeah.
Does that writing feel a lot different than when you're writing lyrics?
Sometimes, yeah. This particular book, it does. It's kind of a mix of some poems and writing that is similar, where I am just kind of almost like eyes closed, just not thinking writing. And then there's also these more thought out essays and things that are reaching a very specific point or very specific message that I'm trying to convey. It's a mix, but
do you feel like one is like sometimes informing the other too? Like if you're doing something like that, are you sometimes like, oh, that would be actually like solid for a song?
I don't think so. Yeah. No, I don't really think, I don't write like that. I guess music, it always comes from a feeling first. It never has worked for me to have something well thought out. And then
The common theme, Mary.
Yeah, I
the
know,
common
right?
theme.
Apparently.
Thought out is not the way for you. It's too much. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
I hope this year I don't get injured so much and I finally forgive this disease. And that if I do more journaling, my friends will understand me. And I promise I'll knit you a really nice scarf if I ever learn how to knit. And I'll try to get better.
You recently started like a chronic illness support group.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to do that? And like, what do you feel like like, how important is it to have community in that and like creating a space for people to like feel seen, I guess, that are like going through similar things and the grief you're talking about?
Yeah. It's hugely important. I think it's even part of a lot of people's treatment plans as sick people is to make sure that you are talking about it with other people. And I don't think you can talk about it too much as a sick person, especially to another sick person. Like, whatever keeps you going, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who come to my groups, they don't have anybody in their life who is sick or who understands. So they're just met with more of the gaslighting and the misunderstandings that have, I guess it's a sad fact, but one of the most common causes of death for people with chronic illness and Lyme disease in particular is suicide. And it's from a lack of community and a lack of understanding and support. And that's really what made me want to start this group, because there isn't a whole lot of it going on, because the people who are sick who would be putting on the group are too sick to do it.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle, but I'm trying.
Yeah. That seems like very important work to do that.
It feels so.
Yeah. Why do you think there's like, I don't know, maybe this is like a much bigger conversation, but like, why do you think there's so much like pushback against these things where, you know, someone is like, no, I'm sick. Like,
Yeah.
why is there like so much gaslighting like within like this particular thing?
Yeah. I think it's probably rooted in ableism, which is our society's very ableist, and it's just like, go, 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 do this, contribute, be productive. And when this illness that's complicated and it's not something you can pinpoint, most chronic illness is a congregation of diseases, and they all do something different, and a lot of it is nervous system related, which you can't really pinpoint. And people don't like that. Doctors don't like that when they don't know what's happening and they don't know how to treat you. So it's easier to just say it's anxiety and send you on your way, which just isn't true. And there is a lot more science coming out about different chronic illnesses now, actively, like a lot in the last 5-10 years even, so really recent.
So there's some progress and some hope.
Yeah,
for
I think so.
Things evolving, hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like, I don't know, what have you found like to be the most helpful? Like, I don't know, have you found like helpful tools, or like you've obviously created like your own community, but like have you found like examples of that in other places, or just things that have been helpful to you outside of like having your music to kind of like spill your emotions into?
Yeah. The two big things that come to mind are my current doctor, who is just a doctor who has a lot of experience with chronic illness, and she's both validating and helpful, which is just really hard to get as a sick person.
Yeah.
So that's been transformative.
You have someone with like a PhD that's advocating for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And then therapy. Yeah. And my therapist is versed in terminal and chronic illness, so there's no gaslighting happening there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a gift that I am trying to actively like learn about, to give back to my chronically ill community. And that's what I'm going back to school for, actually, is
cool.
like social work, medical social work, and therapy, because there's just a gap there. And I want to do my part.
It's very sweet. So a lot of this grief and what you go through dealing with this comes out in the music then?
For sure.
Just like across the board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for sharing. That's very, like you said, I think it's hard for, I don't know, for some people to just like not be able to see past like what appears to be like, you look like a healthy person,
Totally.
or like,
Yeah.
or, you know, you don't have a fever.
Yeah.
Like, we can't do
No
anything
sore
for you.
throat, you're fine.
You're
Yeah.
not sick.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't know, just having some firsthand experience with that type of shit. And
Yeah,
like,
totally.
yeah, watching people experience it, it's just like, it's tough. It's tough to like watch people be in pain and be gaslit for it,
Yeah.
you know, through that experience, for sure.
Totally.
Where do you feel like you must have finished this record a long time ago? Like it came out back in January,
Yeah.
February, and I'm assuming that it was done for a while before it actually came out.
Yeah, like 5 months.
So where do you feel like you're at with music and songwriting right now? Like how are you feeling about it overall?
Yeah. Is there a train?
The train.
Cool.
Oh my god. Yep, need to move those cups off the microwave. They're just
Kinda
rattling.
nice. Land music.
The sounds of the train.
Where am I at right now with writing?
Yeah, like how do
music?
you just like what's your general feelings just about your art right now, and like how do you feel like maybe you've grown as a songwriter since maybe putting out that record, and just overall feelings towards what you're doing with it?
Yeah. I think it was cool coming out with a record that I spent a lot of time listening to and working on with other people, because it became more reflective, where I was able to pinpoint parts of my writing and artistry that I really resonated with even more than other parts. And it's informed the types of songs that I'm writing now, which is a great gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you see a lot of growth from like where you started, or like even going back to like some of the collections of tunes that you made before Spider?
Maybe a little bit. It feels like I'm kind of creating similar things, or I'm approaching things the exact same way. And then maybe I'm a little bit better at going back and changing things, or
pushing against some of that.
Yeah, because I think there is something to be said about looking at something twice, and changing things and crafting things a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that your battle is that and not like the, I don't know. So often I talk to people about songwriting, it's like so much about them getting in their own way because of
Right.
like the overthinking.
Yeah.
I love that it's like almost the reverse where you're just
Totally.
like, I have to force myself to go look at this again to make sure
Yeah.
that like this was the best version of the thing or
Totally. Yeah.
or the version that feels the best.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's like mostly what you're after. It's like
Yeah.
going for the feel.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I often, even when I have recently been looking at things twice or three times and shifting things, I still go back to the way that I stream of conscious wrote or played it.
Yeah.
But
The gut feeling,
yeah.
trusting in it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Well, it's been just a pleasure to get to like see you play over the last couple months, like both with the band and see you do it solo. I always think that that's like a really nice way to see your singer or songwriter do their thing, is like get to see the stripped down version. And I only got to see you play like a couple tunes that night, but it still feels very different, and you know, that extra layer of vulnerability when it's just like someone up there by themselves and nothing else.
Yeah.
Just you and your thoughts and your songs and your feel. So, yeah.
Well, thanks.
Thanks for doing the thing. Thanks for talking with me
Yeah.
about your music and
Thanks for
your
talking
life.
with me.
Yeah. Just, really blown away by the record still. I listened
Thank
to it so
you.
much again today and yesterday. And yeah, just, I feel like one of those, iconic openings to a record, that Dogs track. Like that's just like one of those undeniable, like as soon as that song came on, when I put the record on, I was just like, oh yeah, I'll definitely be listening to this whole thing.
Yes.
I want to play the episode out with Happiness off the record. What do you remember about writing Happiness and where that one came from?
Yeah. Happiness is the oldest song on the record, actually. I had written it a couple years prior. I remember where I was when I wrote. I was in my van. It was really cold and I was bundled. And just like pretty much every other song, it just kind of fell out of me. Very stream of conscious like. And I think it's definitely true to where I was at that time and the relationship I was in at that time.
Yeah.
Learning about how to have more patience and grace and love for myself and not to find that in other people. I think that's the nugget of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, because of the stuff that you're writing, you know, does come from like such a raw, like emotional place, is it ever like hard for you to go back and play a song and like put yourself back in the place where you wrote it if it did come from like a tough spot, or does it always feel like a good thing?
I feel a lot of love for my prior self when I revisit songs. And I feel like I used to have more criticism for my younger self. I think we all go through that.
Yeah.
We all did stupid stuff. And we can resent ourselves for it, or we can just accept it at some point and greet it with love. And I find more of that love now when I revisit songs.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I like sitting with who I was in a way of playing what I had created. It's cool.
Yeah. Very beautiful. Thanks for doing the thing.
Yeah.
Mary, we end every episode of the podcast with the guest saying the tagline for the show, which is "It's a program," and it means absolutely nothing. It's just the way that my grandfather says the word program. He always says program, and no matter what, yeah, it's very ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I think like recently I found out that he doesn't know that he says it that way. And so like every once in a while I like to just ask him to do it. I'll be like, Grandpa, say program. And he's like, program. So it's just like a goofy way that we end the show, and it means absolutely nothing. It's the one time I'll ask you to look into this camera on the desk right there.
Yes. Okay.
So
see
we
it.
get the Mary Eliza. It's a program. You can deliver it however you'd like.
You want me to say my name too?
You don't have to say your name. You can if you would like. I don't
Okay.
want you to overthink it too much.
Don't worry.
Just shoot from the hip, Mary. Just do
Okay.
the thing that you always do. Just it's a program.
All right. It's a program.
She nailed it, everybody. That's Mary Eliza. I'll put all the links in the episode notes so you can keep up with her. And that Spider record is out wherever you listen to music. There's also vinyl copies of it that you can pick up. So if you're a vinyl fan, grab one of those. And we're going to play the episode out with Happiness. And that is the Jelly Jams. And we will catch you on the flip side, Portland, or wherever you are listening from. Cool. We did it.
We did it.
Cars move
Thanks for
like
having me.
a pack of dogs down Highway 101. Tame my fire. I've been burning out for years. And the death of everyone I love is taking quite a toll. And you're confused, saying don't you love me just like I love you. And the problem is maybe I love you more than myself. And I tucked away my broken